I asked you guys to send me your operator ideas, and oh my god. We had some good ideas. We had some ideas that were clearly memes, and they did put a smile on my face. And we had others that just proved that, in fact, a lot of you guys do have an extra chromosome. So, I'm going to list some of my favorites that are given to me, and half of these, will be serious operator ideas that could be viable, and others will be just memes that you guys sent me. But before we get into this, I want to thank everyone who submitted an idea, and I'm sorry that not everyone who did submit an idea will be put into this video. There were a lot of submissions that if I went through all of them, this would turn into a 30-minute plus video. Nobody wants that, but thank you to everyone who did participate. Okay, so first let's go through some of the more serious operators that could actually be seen as a viable operator in Rainbow Six Siege. But really quickly, before I go into that, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can be notified every time I post a video. So this first one is Wave, and I'm going to read you their descriptions that were sent in the exact way that they were written, because some of these seemed really, really vague, and I don't want to assume anything that wasn't meant to be there. Also, I said submit a picture of the operator logo, but very few people did that, so I'm not even going to bother to add those. So Wave has a speaker drone. It's a spin-off Pulses, but instead you have to plant the speaker on the wall that you're trying to enter and activate it. Once activated, it will send sound waves throughout the wall and shake throughout the room. The screen on the speaker will show you the positioning of the enemies in the room. So I really like this idea, and it feels to me like Old School Lion. Of course, Old School Lion was just really OP, but I feel like this type of operator would work if only Wave could see what's on the inside and only limit to maybe 1 or 2 speakers. This could also be extremely OP in many ways, but I really like this submission. Next, we have a submission from King of Aces 114, and he came up with Apollo. And Apollo is a French attacker, and his ability is a drone that can heal people. And he has 5 healing zaps that can heal 25 health per zap. Okay, so I really like this idea for one main reason. The defenders have a healing operator, and the attackers really don't. Finka may be close to it, but I like the idea of having a drone that can heal people. The attackers automatically have a disadvantage in the game, so I feel like something like this would be really nice. Also, since it only does 25 health per zap, I can assume that there would be a timer on how often you could zap a teammate, and I feel like this would be a very, very balanced operator when looking just at the utility. It would be really cool to, see a rush where you have Finka and this operator heal people as they rush in. Next, we have a submission from Epic Thatcher Facts, and his submission is very similar to Wave and Lion, and his operator name is Outlaw, and he has a panoramic goggles that act as a combination between Pulse and the original Line Scanner. His secondary ability is that women can be detected for longer because he is such a sexy hunk of a man. He is a U.S. Army Ranger from Alaska. He earns Ranger Resilience, and when he bleeds out, it bleeds out for longer, and he can pull out a pistol. With his goggles, it works similar to an IQ RED. He has access to a lever action rifle or the M16A4. For secondary, he has the option of a 44 Magnum and the 1911 TAC Ops. And so I really like this operator for 2 main reasons. One, I like that he can pull out a pistol when he's downed. I don't understand why operators don't have that already. I feel like that should really be in the game. Make it work that they can only hit fire maybe. I don't know, but that would be nice to have. And I like the fact that this dude has a lever action rifle. That's just so American cowboy. I love it. And so the only problem I really see with this guy and his ability is that his ability only works when he's using a secondary, and that can still be ridiculously OP even if it's used similar to the way IQ would. It'd be like Pulse being able to constantly scan for heart rate. That would just be ridiculous. But other than that, I really like this guy, so thank you for submitting that. And lastly, of our more serious operators, that these aren't really as fun as the meme ones, but you know what, we're going through them. I have an idea of my own. And you're probably thinking, how are you going to enter this contest or whatever and just enter yourself? Well, it's my channel. I'll do what I want. And so my idea is a 1-speed defender named Peak from New Zealand. And her ability is that she could put up half reinforcements. And these reinforcements are at a height where you can crouch behind it and stay safe, but at a height where you can peek over it and hurdle over it. And this ability works very, very well with, say, a mirror, where you can stay crouched behind the wall, looking through the mirror, and you can pop up and take your shots. As far as the weapons at her disposal, she has the option of an MP7 and the M590, I think it's A1 shotgun, whatever the SAS uses, and the secondary is an SMG-11. And that about does it as far as serious operators go. Now we're going to get into the meme ideas. And honestly, you're going to want to wait until the end because there's an operator who's actually inspired by real events. So the first beam operator we have is Banana, and this operator's ability is to throw banana peels on the floor like traps to where defenders run over it and they slip. The operator's nationality is Jamaica due to the yellow and green flag. This replicates the colors of a ripe and unripe banana. Okay, so this is a meme, but honestly, an operator like this would just be great. It works similar to the way a nomad would work, but I think it'd be a lot cool if it was actually a defender trap operator instead. It would be great to see attackers just run into sight and just start slipping everywhere. So thank you for Minion Jacob for submitting this. Next we have Florida Man, and big thank you to Get a Load of RDJ for submitting this. And so Florida Man's primaries are King Arthur's Excalibur and a mag-fed musket. Secondaries are a rusty high point that he found in a river and a used heroin needle. His ability is that he uses a handful of cocaine to boost up. He runs faster, takes more damage, only used 3 times for 30 seconds. So, we're talking about the most apex predator on Earth right now. This man takes cocaine and can be a god for over half of the round. A minute and a half of just nonstop cocaine power. Also, love the touch of the mag-fed musket. That is genius. Thank you for adding that, and thank you so much for bringing this operator to us for everyone to enjoy. And lastly, we have an operator that comes from a real background. And I'm going to throw in a little bit of a history lesson before I go into the operator details. Keep in mind this is a true story. So, in 1964, Zambia had just become a new independent nation. And one of the first things it set out to achieve was to beat the United States and the Soviet Union to the moon. Yes, this little African country, they wanted to go to the moon. You know what? Go for it, guys. So, Edward Makuka Nkoslo was head of the Zambian Academy of Science, and he wanted to be the one that put Zambians on the moon and Mars. And why did he want to go to Mars so bad? Gee, I don't know, the reason everybody wants to go to Mars. To send missionaries to Mars to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ to the Martians. I swear to God this is true. So, to train the Zambian spacegoers, he would put them in 55-gallon drums and row them down a hill in order to get their bodies ready for spaceflight. He would also put them in tire swings to get their bodies used to the feeling of weightlessness. So after all this training, on October 24th, 1964, the rocket that would put Zambians into space was ready for launch. And this rocket was roughly a 2-meter tall tube made of copper and aluminum. But before the rocket could launch, the Zambian government stepped in for obvious reasons. They stopped it because, you know what, these people are going to die. So, Nkoslo's legacy continues today, with the introduction of the best Rainbow Six Siege operator to ever be released. The operator is Nkoslo. Country of origin, Zambia. Ability, a 55-gallon rocket drum. This is a simple-made rocket made of 55... This is a simple-made rocket made of a 55-gallon drum and a large fuel source. Can breach any surface horizontally and vertically in a very large area. And if an enemy stands on the other side of the wall when the charge goes off, they're instantly downed. 2 barrels can be brought at a time. And so I can confidently say this is the best idea that I've ever heard. So a huge thank you to my boy Carlson Bovine for sending this in. So that's about it. I want to thank everyone who sent in an idea. Sorry if your idea didn't make it. As I said earlier, we would be here for 30 minutes if that was the case. And I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. Thank you for sticking around to the end of the video. And as always, have a good one.